Settle back now, content, comfortable, well-fed, and ready for some fine entertainment. Is everybody happy? Then let's go. It's showtime.
Welcome to the Cuse Militia podcast with those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
Most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
What's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning in to the Cuse Militia podcast with Sean and Joe. If you like it, please share it. The universal handle for the socials is at Cuse Militia. Go there, join the militia. We are the only Syracuse sports podcast centered around giving you, the fans, a voice. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. And
yes, sir.
It's Tuesday, right? Yes, it is Tuesday. Welcome. Got a little bit of news. Got a news montage, in fact, we'll go over. And then we'll go over some of the Syracuse basketball news. Hope everybody's doing well. We've missed you guys. I had a packed weekend, so we always plan on doing a Friday or Saturday show.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the weather was nice.
Well, the weather was nice, but my wife took some extra weekends off, so it's just I got lazy, to be honest with you.
No, QT time with the family. That's not bad.
Yeah, but I didn't do much of anything.
Don't feel bad.
I pretty much mowed the lawn all weekend. That's pretty much all I did.
I'm trying to help you out here, but you just keep committing to the laziness. So
I know.
I'm done.
I know.
I'm done.
I'm sorry. I
laying
appreciate
in your pool. Every time I called you, I'm just outside, just lounging in the pool. I'm sitting here. I don't know if I really want a podcast. I don't know. The weather's really nice.
I know. Well, I wasn't in my pool at that time. I was half asleep on the outside in a chair, and
with the beer in your hand.
With a beer on the table. I think I was half asleep when you called. I'm like, oh my gosh, post podcast.
Sounded it.
It's nothing against you guys. Nothing at all.
No.
Love you guys. It just, maybe I was waiting for some more news to fall, I guess. And then it did. And then we're
again.
oh crap, we could do 2 episodes now. So anyway, let's have at it. What has happened in the Cuse world since we last spoke? Well, we are about to find out. Juan Wallace entered the transfer portal, as you well know, a little over 2 weeks ago. He'll link up with a handful of familiar faces, most notably Sean Lewis, who served as the Orange's co-offensive coordinator for the 2016-17 season before being hired as Kent State University's head coach, according to Stephen Bailey over at Syracuse.com. Also, defensive coordinator Tom Kaufman, who worked with Wallace directly as SU's linebacker coach, will be there as well. Approximately 60, also according to Stephen Bailey, approximately 65 Syracuse football players have returned to Syracuse for voluntary athletic activities. SU Athletics announced this morning, Tuesday. It's unclear which players are back and when the others may join the group, but out of those 65, about half of them have received the Rona tests. No indication of what will happen through a positive test as of yet. It has not been mentioned. According to Nate Mink over at Syracuse.com, Andre Sisco will be tabbed first team preseason All-American. His 12 interceptions are the most in the country by a returning college football player, which is awesome. I mean, quite honestly, could be one of the best, and probably will be his last year if I had to take a gamble on that. In his 22 career games, he also has 125 tackles, 28 passes defended, 2 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. So, some sad news to report, and we all love the Dome. We all love the Carrier Dome. Well, why have officials from Syracuse been announcing some of these non-conference games by leaving out Carrier or Dome and replace with the stadium? The stadium. Well, according to Mike Waters over here at Syracuse.com, the facility was purchased by Carrier in 1975 for $2.75 million, which inside the Loud House notes is obviously a bargain basement price, as they put it. So the way that this went was, the original story, I guess, goes as they bought this and extended the naming rights in perpetuity. Perpetuity, word of the day. A bond or other security with no fixed maturity date, which means this deal was supposed to be endless, apparently. But it is a sad day. The stadium, I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be tough to get used to for me. And in the words of the great prophet Ozzy Osbourne, I feel unhappy. I am so sad. I've lost the best friend that I ever had. She is my baby. I love her so. But it's too late now. I've let her go. So we're going through changes. Ooh. We're going through changes. Okay? All right. Jalen Carey found a spot to land, and he will be part of the Rhode Island team. And we wish him luck. He chose Rhode Island from a number of schools, including Connecticut, Marquette, Creighton, Alabama, and BYU, and most notably, Georgetown. And I think we all know that he wasn't going to choose Georgetown. Whoa, what a slap in the face that would have been. That would have sucked. But we all knew he wouldn't do that. Rhode Island, you got a hell of a guy. Great character. Love Jalen Carey. Wish him the best. Okay. The Cuse Juice montage today is brought to us by Armchair Media and, of course, betonline.ag. Listen, betonline.ag is the title sponsor for Armchair and also the sponsor for the Cuse Militia podcast, the title sponsor, that is. BetOnline.ag with NASCAR, UFC, and golf back. By the way, hats off to NASCAR and UFC for paving the way back to normalcy and saying, you know what, enough of this. We need sports back. Golf is on the way. BetOnline has hundreds of games and events to bet on. Make sure you sign up before the NBA and the MLB seasons come back later this summer. I, for one, cannot wait for baseball. I don't even usually say that. I cannot wait for baseball. I really can't. Just let's get back to it. Let's do it. They have live and simulated sports as well as a $10,000 Madden Bracket Challenge you can enter for free. Visit betonline.ag on your computer or mobile device to check out the action. BetOnline is your online wagering solution. Thank you, BetOnline. All right, Joe. So, a lot to go through there, but
yeah,
let's hit it real quick. You remember where I started? Of course you do. Because you were paying attention, right?
Oh yeah. Well, it was a lot, and I really wasn't given the script here, so yeah.
No, Joe had no idea. So
to,
that's right.
Remember.
Students returning. We thought the first. They're here on the 8th. That was one thing I wasn't expecting. I remember it being the first. I thought, right? So.
Yeah.
Anyways, to come back to 8th, that's getting started. Andre Cisco.
Yeah, I was worried about that because of just the fact that that was New York State, and who knew when they were gonna, or how fast they were gonna kind of go. So
right.
Obviously, taking a week. I mean, that's the kids trying to figure stuff out too. But I'm sure. What else are you supposed to do? Sit around at home or go train and get better, right?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta
get together and work together and try to figure this new system out and this new offensive coordinator.
Yeah. So first of all, Juan Wallace transferred. Anything to say about that? Kent State. He's gonna go there. A couple familiar faces. I think it fits.
Yeah, it fits for him, especially if he's looking for playing time and stuff like that. So it doesn't matter where you go to school; you can always make the league. So he probably went someplace where he wasn't going to be able to fit the scheme and get that much playing time, and now he's going somewhere where he's got some familiar faces. They know him, and it's probably a good get for Kent State.
Yeah, I would say so.
Probably a great fit for both, really.
Yeah, if he wants to play and they want to play him, he's got familiar faces, he's got coaches there he knows. I mean,
right.
It's almost like, it makes the transition that much easier.
When he got recruited, he wasn't like the likes of Kent State wasn't going to get him because he was a more higher ranked player, right? So. And now he's put in his work and he wants to play, and so he's going to go somewhere where he plays, and hopefully he can star.
Yeah, definitely. The stadium, Joe. What do you think about the stadium?
I mean, nothing lasts forever, right?
I know.
I've read that whole thing about like Carrier and that whole, I don't know. It was almost like they didn't know how it was going to work or something, right? I don't know. I just feel like they're so far behind. The Dome has been so far behind, and Syracuse is a university. I mean, I think that we've been a little lucky that we've had, like, Jim Boeheim and some of the other coaches that we've had, considering that they can go other places and get a lot more money, and I don't think they've taken advantage of the money that you can get from stadiums and advertisement and having certain people there, right?
I mean, so you're looking at a couple $1 million, almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
You know,
so I mean, where's the money coming in to fund that place, right? So at some point, I mean, I think that I think maybe they just announced this, but I think once we started getting doing the renovations and getting all this money and stuff like that, it had to come from somewhere, right? And it didn't come from Carrier, because Carrier's pretty much gone now. I mean, I know it's there, but it's not the Carrier it was in the 70s, right? In 80s, and the Carrier we grew up on. We've talked about it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, as much as, I mean, that's an easy battle you can win in court, because at some point I get what you were talking about with it was supposed to last forever and all that kind of stuff, but obviously it was a horrible deal, and obviously we must have been just
desperate.
Desperate to get a name in there to get help to get that built, right? And that was what we got ourselves into. But
yeah, so either get ready to hawk that Carrier Dome memorabilia or save it, you know, because
but how much? No, but at the same time, that's history. Yeah, save it. You have to
absolutely.
Save it, right?
I would definitely save
it. It's always
it.
Gonna be the Carrier Dome. There's gonna be people our age. Are you gonna call it whatever it's gonna call it, or is it always gonna be?
It's gonna be the Dome to me.
It's always going to be, let's go up to the Dome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I never even said the Carrier Dome to my friends, right? It's
no,
like,
it's
you
the
going
Dome.
up to the Dome?
Yeah.
Oh, we're going up to the Dome. Meet you at the Dome, right? Like, that's what it is, and it's still going to be, it's not going to be meet you at the stadium just because
I'm going to meet you at the stadium, guys. How about that? What do you say we go to the stadium?
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
Realistically, right. And the amount of money that Carrier gave to be the name of that dome, I mean, I'm sure the Syracuse was gladly willing to, or whatever company was going to come. I mean, we could pay them back and say, hey, thanks but no thanks.
Yeah, and you know what's up with the Carrier Dome pieces? I am like, what was it? It was Friday or Saturday night. I was sitting around, I'm like, man, where are all the Carrier Dome pieces? I know that they gave a bunch to the 2020 seniors, and
I thought they were selling some.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
But there's going to be, I mean, we're talking about 6 acres or something like that of fabric, right? So,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Anyway, it's supposed to be for sale. I heard, I think some of the older articles said Steiner Sports. And I saw some stuff on Twitter where some 2020 graduates had theirs already, which is cool. It's cool, okay? But it's time to put them on the market. You got to pay for those renovations somehow, right?
Yeah. I'm not gonna. I mean, most likely somebody paid to take it out, right? They probably took it down, and there was probably a company that was like, "Oh, I'll take it."
Well, yeah, no kidding.
I'll take this much off your hands, yeah. But it's not a company that's paying for the dome.
Oh, I know. Okay, all right. Well, there he is, folks. Boeheim's Army, Dante Green. Either way, they sold it probably.
What?
Either way, they probably sold it. Okay.
Cisco deserves to be on the All-American team. Okay, and Jalen Carey, that's a good transfer for him. I was paying attention.
Good job.
Proceed.
No, you weren't. All right, Boeheim's Army added Dante Green, and I didn't see an official announcement from Boeheim's Army, but I guess I missed it. So, anyways, my bad for being a little late on that. He did play in the past for Boeheim's Army, 2017. That was the Final Four appearance year in Baltimore, and he, obviously played 2007, 2008 season, Syracuse, and averaged 17.7 points. I looked up, so I don't remember.
How many shots he took a game?
Well, no, I didn't. That's a good point. I didn't look at percentage. So, what?
That's just a question.
Chucking up 50. What are we shooting? 25%.
I just, food for thought.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So, well, we got 8 players now. Still not a true center in there, really, but we got.
Team made the NIT that year, by the way.
Yeah. Right. So, and what was that? Was that the? What was that? It wasn't Dayton, was it? No. What year was the Dayton?
St. Joe's, Temple. I don't know. No,
yeah, Vermont.
It was NITs. It was NIT. It wasn't NCAA. We made the NIT that year.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. What's up with the attitude today? What's up with the attitude? You are in a horrible, pissy mood today.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. Bagging on Dante Green.
I'm not
calling him a ball hog.
I didn't say that.
You said my mouth. You said that. You said that. You definitely said that. So,
I might have said it in past episodes, and I definitely didn't say it in this episode.
Oh, okay. Okay. Fair enough. Well, let's see. I'm pulling this up now because you piqued my interest.
No,
so,
here we go. I mean, he's a good player.
41.8%. from the field.
He adds height, and he's a veteran presence.
218 for 521 from the field. That's not terrible, Joe, by the way.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah, like it was pretty bad. Okay, so
scored buckets. Come on, bro.
So, anyway, first commit of the class of 2021, Benny Williams, 6'8" small forward out of Maryland. He committed. He's ranked 47th in his class according to 247 Sports. Williams picked Syracuse over, again, Georgetown, Maryland, and Miami, which is pretty good. Let's see. According to StockRisers.com, Williams said, I knew the first time I went to their elite camp for my visit, I knew. So that's a good pick for, and I think Dior Johnson called this one too, if I remember right. This is a good pick for, a good recruit for 2021. First one, it's good. You got to figure, think about going into the 2021 season and what we're going to have there at small forward. But anything stick out to you with him or what? I mean, I watch his tape. He's just a man among boys, and you know how that is at that age when they're committing in their junior year like that.
He's 6'8", 180, but you can see his explosiveness. He's naturally strong, but obviously he needs to put on weight. But you don't need to put on that much as a small forward, especially if you can shoot outside. He's just such an explosive player, and he's got another year to go to kind of just get right with some of the things that obviously he's got to work and get better on. It doesn't matter what you are, how good you are, what rank you are. You always got to get better. And, you're talking top 50 player in the 10th small forward in the class. So I watched some of his film, and he's an explosive player for sure. Definitely somebody that that we're gonna like for sure. It's funny because, like you said, we've talked and had so many. How many times have we had conversations about recruiting the past however many years, right?
Yeah.
And now, all of a sudden it looks like we're starting to, and maybe that's just Coach Autry and Jerry McNamara.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, maybe this is just kind of what happens when you remove a Mike Hopkins, and then you have to force maybe some other player or some other coaches to step up in recruiting and this and that. And you're starting to see Jerry and Coach Autry get some of these guys. And it's definitely promising for sure. Especially when you have Dior Johnson in 2022 and then Benny Williams. He's just, he would have been our highest ranked recruit last year in a class with Quincy Guerrier and Godine was up there as well, but he would have been higher rated than that. So and he's going to be higher rated than any recruit this year too, with Kadari Richardson and everything like that. So he's going to be, as far as right now, obviously there's only one commit in the next year's class, but right now he's the best commit that we've had in the last. It's going to be the best commit in 3 years when it comes down to it, and he actually comes.
Yeah, well, how much of that do you think has to do with just getting is the recovery from sanctions and stuff like that? Is the recovery that long? Does it take that long? You got to wonder a little bit. I don't know, because we're looking at what going into our fourth season without Mike Hopkins, right?
Yes.
So, I think so.
Yes.
So you're looking at the fourth season going into there. You got Jerry stepping up and Coach Autry stepping up to fill in some of that role. You add the sanctions on the front end of that, and you got. Right. It probably just takes that long to get these things together. We got what? We'll talk about the next one here in a minute, but you've got one of the biggest gripes from fans over the past, going on 5-6 years, especially since Coach Hopkins left, is that they can't recruit. And you hear it so much, and you see what we're getting, and you want to stay positive and be like, no, they can recruit. It's this, that, or the other. But at some point, it was just, I was even questioning. I'm like, man, what's going on with recruiting? This is tough.
Right.
It was getting brutal.
Yeah. Well, with our, again, with the recruiting, when we had Hopkins and we were going through that whole sanctions deal, we were getting the likes of the Malachi Richardsons, Tyler Lydens, Tyus Battle, Shea Brissett, Frank Howard's in there a little bit, but we were getting, the classes weren't as big. So we didn't have the depth to create, those juniors and seniors that you can really rely on and have experience and depth in your rotation. What we were doing was we were relying a lot of times on a 5, 6, 7-man rotation. I mean, you remember how many minutes a lot of those starters were playing 30 plus minutes, 32, 34, 35 plus minutes every single game. So that's what we relied on. And we had a solid top 5 because we were still recruiting well. It's just we couldn't get that base behind, so we weren't getting big recruiting classes. We were just hitting on the right ones that we needed to keep us competitive.
Basically,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then it became a point where we lost Hopkins. We didn't have it. And we had to go on and we had to get 2 graduate seniors to come in and try to help a team. And then it's been pretty much just a rebuild from there, because then we started to be able to our recruits opened back up, and now we were getting 4 and 5 class guys again. So I think we're back, on an upward trajectory to where we needed to be or where we were before the sanctions, and we've still stayed relatively competitive during that whole time. So it's pretty impressive how we did get to. I mean, there's a lot of teams that could have not done what we did during the sanctions and during that time.
Yeah, I mean, what, 2 Final Four runs, right?
Was it 2?
Was it 2? Wasn't it 2?
I don't think it was 2.
Was it not 2? Are we sure?
Pretty sure it was just 1.
Either way, still impressive. We had some years that were not impressive. The Gillen White year was great on paper, but just.
But in the midst of sanctions, bringing in graduate transfers to come in and star on a team.
Well, you almost don't have a choice.
But amidst all that, we were still on the bubble. There was some
we were on the
great.
Bubble.
I mean,
yeah,
there was some great. You remember when we did that thing with Gio about the top 10, top 50, top 10 SU moments in the last 20 years or whatever.
It was 16. Yeah.
Right. So how many of those games? I know we brought up the Gillen NC State game, the Gillen beating Duke. I mean, as bad as we didn't make the NCAA tournament, we still won some. There were some great games, and they still brought some excitement. We had some big wins that year.
What year were the sanctions?
When did they start?
14, wasn't it?
When they started, it was the year that they put themselves on that postseason probation. The year it was Rakeem Christmas's senior season.
Okay. All right, moving on. Got another one. These two are back to back. Frank Anselm, he's going to join Kadari Richmond and Woody Newton in the 2020 class coming in. So we got three freshmen coming in this year. A 6'10" center out of California. He committed to Syracuse. And according to our buddy James over at Noon's Magician, initially a member of the 2021 class, Anselm reclassified and moved up to 2020. He picked the Orange over Georgia, New Mexico, San Diego State. And I reached out to James and I asked why he moved up or whatever. And he sometimes they're just able to work it out, but I guess the details weren't really given on it, and right. So anyway, James was basically like, kids that are eager to get in they're going to find a way a lot of times to be able to get in, and he did. And so he's a good fit for the zone. I think James did a piece on this too, so you can check that. In fact, yeah. I think I shared that on Facebook. It was the last thing I shared. So he's a big dude. He's got 6'10", right? But his wingspan is like 7'5".
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just huge. And him playing down there is going to be probably wreak some havoc on defense for sure. It's going to probably be a good fit. So he did say, according to Rivals.com, he said he was asked why he picked the Cuse by Dan McDonald. And he said, because there is no one with my skills on the roster. Also, it's the best basketball conference in America. If I work hard, I can be a first-round pick in 2 years. So there's those are his plans, okay? So looking to get into the NBA after his sophomore year. Now, I also read, and I can't remember where, and I did try to find it to give credit, but it was in passing just one day. I wasn't putting a show together, but I had read that, the coaches were pretty forthright with him about, playing time in his freshman year. So probably not going to get a lot of, burn there, but he's a confident kid, man. And, he does have the size, and coming in a year early, I guess, you got to I don't know. See, I don't ever want to question any of these kids' decisions on that end, but, an extra year in high school does a body good. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. And he could have, but he's obviously eager to move his life forward. And obviously, I mean, he's still graduating high school, going to college. So
Right.
he's just doing a little bit faster, right? So maybe that gives him a chance to be able to come in and adapt to college life and kind of get a good head start on the academic side of it, and actually learn how to, that's a lot of times that's what the reason that players do redshirt, both football and basketball. There's some players that probably could actually help if all they went to college to do was do that one thing, right? But then you add in the social life, you add in being away from home, you add in having to do classes and just learning how to navigate at a college somewhere, right? Like sometimes that kind of hinders their growth on the field or on the court, right? So it's all really on how he handles it, and him leaving early, jumping up a class, coming to Syracuse, and then being told by Jim Boeheim, I also heard the same thing, that he's not guaranteed any minutes. Just a year like that, I mean, think about it. He could have spent a whole another year in high school, but Syracuse wants him, so he can still go there. He can adapt. He can get ready. He can learn the team, compete with the team, get bigger, faster, stronger, and that would be all more the better, especially considering that we have Sidibe and Dolajai, who are both seniors this year. And I'm not so sure if this guy's a natural center. I mean, obviously he could be, and I don't know. Maybe he'll use him there, but so where I heard what he talked about as far as coaches and talking to him about minutes and stuff. There's you go to YouTube. He was on a podcast, I believe. I believe it was a podcast. It's The Front Office is what it's called, but I believe that's what it's called. Just YouTube search Frank Anselm basketball. It'll pop up, and he's on there 6-7 minutes, and they got an interview in there about where he's revealing where he's going to school, and they talk a little bit about it. And he talks about that, and he talks about how he wants to be able to work on his outside game to be able to be a stretch guy. So if this guy can be a stretch 4, and we actually have legit centers, because we do have a lot of younger centers underneath Sidibe, right? So if those guys work out, and this guy can prove to be a power forward type like a Warwick, and maybe even be able to shoot outside shots, maybe even a 3-pointer at some point. I mean, he'd be a very, very dangerous player.
That's true, but when he says work on it, that's what I heard. Like, he really needs to work on it. He's more of a defensive fit for the zone.
Oh,
right
yes,
now.
Definitely a defensive fit for sure. And I mean, he's got ball skills down low and everything like that. But
I mean, what's really killed us the past couple years? What's really killed us?
Well, defense.
We're rebounding mostly.
Well, yeah.
Right. Offensive rebounding has killed us. A lot of down the court, one and done stuff. And before, I mean, look, I'm not a freaking expert, but we need someone that can get out and rebound, be in the right spot at the right time. That's what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, get back to those days where we used to get those offensive rebounds and reset, or just stuff it back home, or do some kind of pass and down low and just set someone up. That stuff, that's the old school Syracuse basketball.
Well, then that's where I think they're trying to get back to now that they can get those scholarships. They have all the scholarships to develop players, right? They can bring these guys in. I mean, imagine you can have a situation where, 2 years from now, you got a Kadari Richmond, a 6'7" up top as a guard, and then you could have.
You can go huge. You can go huge.
Frank Anselm on one wing, Benny Williams on another wing. And then you have Jesse Edwards, a senior Jesse Edwards, or a junior John Bolashak, that are both 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot, with a 6'10" forward Anselm and a 6'8" small forward Benny Williams. I mean, that's going back old school like size like we had against 2003,
right?
With Mello and Warwick and Forth in them. So I think we got to get back to being able to get those traditional type of guys. You know, I think recently we've had guys like, I mean, I know Dolzai, he's a little bit taller, right? So I mean, we have had a little bit of height, but what's that?
6'10", I think.
Right.
Dolzai.
Right. But we've had small
we need muscle, though. Let's be honest.
Well, that's
we need some muscle down there. I mean, that's kind of been, what's Dolzai, 6'10", 195?
Muscle in that position. In that position, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Craig Forth wasn't great. Didn't get us, I mean, as far as getting a lot of points and stuff, but he was great on defense. And he was great with picks. And he was just
he was not a small guy.
And he was solid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So I don't think it matters as much when you get to the small forward position and everything like that. But even when you look at some of the small forward guys that we've had playing there with Elijah Hughes, I mean, even Benny Williams is taller than a lot of the small forwards that have been playing down at the wing the past couple of years. So,
and don't forget too, we got 2 years, and we don't know when it's going to start. But Alan Griffin too. So when you look at next year's team at this point, I feel really good about that. And it's been a minute for real since I've felt really good about an incoming Syracuse team. I mean, you got a transfer that's got 2 years of eligibility. I think that kid's going to be a star. A part of me almost hopes, put it this way. It's a win-win for Syracuse, whether he has to sit out or whether he can play right away. There's really no bad situation there. I mean, he's only going to be that much better if he had to sit out and got to practice with the team all year.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's a win-win. That's how I look at it. So, I want him to play because I think he's going to be a fan favorite, and I think he's a talented dude, and I want to see him. But, if he's got to sit out, I mean, he's, it is what it is. I'm not going to get too upset about it.
Well, I mean, again, we have those upperclassmen big guys coming in, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So talking about you're going to have Buddy and Joe coming back. So there's a lot of spots still available for minutes. I mean those are your starters, but
you could have Buddy Sr., Joe Jr., right? Yeah, Joe Jr. and Alan Griffin Jr. 1 year. You know what I mean? So
there's so many we don't really know.
No, we don't know, but I'm just saying.
Best case scenario for this year, and I think that again, I know I read something about I don't know the exact player, but there's a player that transferred back to his home state in California. I think it was UCLA or USC, and he got granted his waiver because he said he wanted to live closer to home because of the virus and everything. So. Hopefully that's something to Alan Griffin, because he only lives, his hometown's 3 hours away from where Syracuse is. So hopefully that works to our advantage. But again, and we've seen multiple times when these players from other schools, they get granted these waivers and then we put in the same ones and we don't get them. So, but I'll tell you what, I'm still praying and I'm still hoping and wishing Alan Griffin hopefully can play this year, and Chris Bleich can hopefully play this year for the football team on that offensive line to solidify that baby. And I would be very, very happy with the NCAA. It's hard for me to think that they couldn't do it during these times, right? I mean,
especially with the way last year ended and everything like that. It just seems, I don't know. It seems like the right thing to do. But it's NCAA, and they never do the right thing because they suck.
They do it by accident.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Right?
Yeah, no, totally, dude. They suck. Can't stand the NCAA.
Dude, there's just no rhyme or reason.
No, there's no rhyme or reason. There's
don't get me wrong. It might have helped.
It's all politics in there.
Might have helped Syracuse get in a couple years. Who knows who's behind closed doors pulling the strings of that marionette, right? But at the end of the day, there's some times where we've been screwed, but there's been some times where we didn't think we were going to make the NCAA tournament recently, and we have. So you just never really know. But again, it seems to me like we just never get these transfer waivers, these hardship waivers, or getting an extra year because of medical or something. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like we never get those.
Yeah, I know. I feel you. It's you feel like we never get those for a reason, right?
No, I don't know the reason. That's the problem.
No, for a reason. You feel like that for a reason, and the reason is because we never get those.
Well, yeah, but the NCAA, they're just not transparent about anything, so there's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
Anything that's, you can try to put logic into trying to guess what the NCAA is going to do or predict what the NCAA is going to do on a decision, but who knows, dude? You'd have no idea.
Yeah, no, I know. All right, look, real quick, one more time. I gotta ingrain it in your head, and I'm sorry, not sorry about it actually. So, Armchair Media and the Cuse Militia podcast title sponsor is BetOnline.ag. Please go there. Got NASCAR, you got UFC, you got golf back. BetOnline, with hundreds of games and events to bet on. And make sure you sign up before the NBA and the MLB come back later this summer. They have simulated sports as well. $10,000 Madden Bracket Challenge. You can enter for free. Visit betonline.ag now. On your computer or mobile device, check out the action. BetOnline is your online wagering solution. And this show, obviously, is distributed by Armchair Media. And it is powered by betonline.ag. Joe, any final thoughts?
No, man. Just get out of your pool on the weekends, bro.
Dude, I'm all about, you know what I would like to do? And I say that, well, I don't know if I have said this on the air, but we've talked about it. We need to do another call-in show, and we need to do it where this is how it's going to work, if anyone's still listening. How it would work, Joe, and you tell me what you think. I don't know if I've run this by you, but this is how it would work. And we do it at night, so it's like, it's at night. So I'm not always in the pool at night. But anyway, you do it where we put it out, we set it up, we put it out, we set it up so that way, when we're ready, we do it from 8 to 9. And from 8 to 9, you DM us your contact. We call you, so that way you guaranteed on. Because the last time we did this, it was like people calling, and I couldn't get to them. I don't have caller ID via the Skype phone number, which is what that is that you call. And so I couldn't get to them, so we only got to like 4 of them.
Guy running the phones like, please hold.
Yeah, right.
No, we ain't got none of that.
We don't got none of that. That guy that runs the phones and would say, please hold, is me. So maybe we could set it up and do it from, this time to this time. Have you DM us on Facebook or Twitter and give us your contacts, and we'll call you. And we can do it like that. It'll be easier.
I think it can be tweaked a little bit, but I like it better than the other one, yeah.
Right? Yeah, it can be tweaked a little bit. I mean, maybe some people aren't comfortable with Joe knowing their number, and I don't blame them.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I don't blame them at all.
Let's be honest. You pretty much handle the socials, so everyone pretty much knows I'm not going to look at phone numbers or anything. So,
yeah.
Why would I? Why?
All right, that's all I got. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, especially if you're still listening. God bless you, people. God bless you. Look, stay safe. Love you guys. Thanks, Armchair. Thanks, BetOnline.ag. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Cuse Militia Podcast, the fan's voice with Sean and Joe.